So next up, we have our concentrator, and I'm pretty excited about these people. I'm very familiar with this family and what they do in our community. Don Sr. was a client of mine for many, many, many years, and I've watched Don Jr. and his team grow up into those big shoes to fill, and they've done a fantastic job. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Don Teemsma Jr. From Ideal Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Thank you, Vicki. And I just like to give my testimony to Vicki. You know, this year, or actually last year, I had a really bad back strain, and she was closed, but fortunately, her spa service for massage was open, and her guy, Steve, really brought me back to life. And I had maybe 6 sessions with him, and he did acupuncture and other things. And man, I can't say enough about that experience. So Vicki, you got a really class act there. And
thank you, Don.
someday you might get me in for yoga. So we'll see.
We would love to see you.
All right. Well, I'm going to start my presentation now. And you guys met Natalie, and Natalie has just been a fantastic person to work with for a lot of years. And so she's going to work in the background. So Ideal Plumbing has been around for 60 years, and believe it or not, this is our 43rd year with the Executives Association of San Diego, and it's been a fantastic relationship. We have had many execs come and go and still use Ideal, and we have many friends in the organization still, and look forward to serving you. One of those fantastic companies is the Better Business Bureau, and they run a Torch Award every year, and we participate. And a couple years ago, we were lucky enough to be recognized as one of the winners. And I'd like to play a video that shows a little bit about our core values and gives you a sense of what we do. So let's go ahead and play that video. I don't hear any sound. I'm gonna go tell Natalie the sound. So.
On the share screen, she has to click the little sound button at the bottom for the sound to actually play.
Natalie, you can stop and then start over and click the sound button first.
She in there?
Yeah. Are you getting sound now?
No, no sound.
Natalie, stop the share, and when you share again, click on the screen, and on the bottom of the share screen, there's a share computer sounds. You have to go out of screen share.
Okay.
And go back into screen share. And when you click, before you click share on the bottom, there's a thing that says click share computer sound.
Okay.
Click on that.
Thank you.
Yay!
All right. In the early years, my father had a hardware store. Over time, we added heating and air conditioning. We added electrical services. We added kitchen and bath remodeling. And that's been very rewarding for me because it's allowed me to expand on the core business of plumbing. Fast forward to 1992, he retired from Ideal Plumbing and turned the reins of the company to me completely. And since then, we've grown from 10 trucks to 30 trucks. Ideal Plumbing's guiding principles have to do mostly with integrity, doing the thing right the first time, taking care of our customers, and being transparent. When we show up on a job, the impression we like to leave with our customers is that we're there to serve and care for their needs. The culture of this company has really embodied that particular way of doing business for a very long time, almost 59 years now. And it's served us well. It's the right thing to do. It's the way people want to be treated. It's the way I think brings a lot of love and service within our relationships with our customers. Participating in the Better Business Bureau Torch Award process is important to this company because it's part of our culture. Winning the award is important to me and hopefully my employees and my customer because it's evidence that we are practicing principles that show strong ethics and moral character in the business community.
Don, you're
Don, you're on mute.
Okay, now I'd like to have one of our esteemed members, Tanya Courtney, say a few words about her experience with Ideal Plumbing. Courtney?
Hi, thank you. Esteemed member, it just makes me laugh. Okay. Still think of myself as a little associate, right? So I just, Don asked me to give a testimonial about my experience with Ideal. And I've had a couple interesting things that weren't Ideal's things, but the way things evolve in my life, there's always a twist. So a couple of years ago, Joe Virgilio had recommended that I get one of those leak detectors for my water heater because it was getting up there in age and it was still working fine. There was nothing really wrong with it. And I installed it, forgot all about it. And then one day I was sitting out in my backyard and I heard a truck backing up. I kept hearing this truck backing up, going in reverse, making the beep, beep, beep. And I was thinking, how far are they going to go before they finally quit? And then I thought, and then it like just was beeping and just never stopped. So I thought they must be out front of the house. So I went through the house, the sound got louder, went through the front door, sound went away, went back in the house, the sound got louder. And I thought, wait, that's in my house. And so after a little hunting, I finally found that was the beeper, that the leak detector that Joe had told me to install. And so literally the leak had just started. It was maybe 10 minutes old, which if he hadn't have had me do that, that leak would have gone on for hours before I would have even noticed, because I had no plans to go out into the garage till at least the afternoon to get my car. But in that moment I called, or I texted Joe, I think, and I was like, 911, help, water heater's gone, need to take a shower, hurry up. And within 2 hours, they had someone at the house to start draining the hot water heater. And Joe had brought me one of those temporary water heaters so that I could take a shower, and a hot shower, and loaned that to me. And I had it for a couple days. And the work that Ideal did on the water heater was amazing because, I had people like, oh, I could have installed that for this or that and done that. But that's not what Ideal did. They put another pan in, they installed these drains so that if anything does happen again, it will go outside of my house. I don't have to worry about damage to the drywall because the hot water heater sits right next to the dining area. And I got really lucky. If I hadn't have gotten that leak detector, I probably would have had a lot of damage to the drywall, to the back of the house here and to the bathroom. But because of that, they saved me, and it ended up being a very pleasant experience instead of something that could have been a real disaster. So that's just the kind of company that they are, and I appreciate that. So, and I appreciate their quick response. So they're awesome, and they've done other stuff for me too. I got a couple other stories, but that's the best one so far. So anyway, but thank you, Don, for asking me to do that, and it's my pleasure.
You're welcome, and thank you for saying such kind words. And you are an esteemed member, and I've had the pleasure of working and associating with you for a lot of years, and
Thank you.
Looking forward to many more. So plumbing is one of our core businesses, and one of the things a plumber does is we protect the health of the nation and we also protect the structure, as Tanya so eloquently stated. I'd like to share with you two important things that everybody needs to know about their house, and that's how to shut the water off and how to shut the gas off. So we're going to try our hand at another video. Go ahead, Natalie. Hello, Zach. As I was preparing for my concentration this week, I was thinking there are two things that I'd like to share with you. One, how to shut your water off to your house in case there's a water loss, a flood, or some kind of an emergency. And two, the same event might occur with your gas system. So let's take a minute and look at how to shut the water off at the front of your home. Typically, it's at the front of your home. Could be in the garage, could be on the side of the house. If you don't know where it is, that's one great thing to learn. If you do know where it is, let's make sure that the valve works and works easily. I'll show you here how easy it should work. And then when we get to my gas meter, I'll show you how difficult it might be to shut off. Let's go take a look. Okay, we're here at the front of the house at the water service, the point of entry, and I have two valves. I have one valve for the house, and I have a second valve for the irrigation. It's really nice to separate the two, because if you have an irrigation problem, you can shut that off and not interrupt the water to the house. Let's show you how easy it is when you have the proper valve installed. That shuts the water off to the house, and this shuts the water off to the irrigation. That simple. Okay, let's go take a look at the gas meter. Okay, now we're over here by the gas meter. So if you had a gas smell inside the house or in the garage or somewhere around your property, probably the first thing you would think of is let's call SDG&E. But probably more appropriate is to go out to your gas meter and shut the gas off, and then call, of course, Ideal. If you call SDG&E and they come out and you do have a gas leak, they're more likely to lock off the meter and tell you to call us anyway. And then once it's locked off, you could go down a long road of repair, much more difficult than if we can just come out and make the repair. Could require a permit from the city. It may be off for 3 or 4 days while we're trying to get it resolved. And we can do things to mitigate it quickly, generally speaking, get your gas back on much quicker, and cut out the whole process of SDG&E, City of San Diego permit, or whatever municipality you're in. So let's take a look at how to shut the gas off. Okay, this is the gas meter, and this, you can see I have a shut off tool to turn the gas on. I'll just leave it hanging right here. So in case of an emergency, I can use it rather quickly. However, you're going to notice that even someone as strong as me is going to have a very difficult time turning this because it doesn't get exercised very often. So let's take a look. Okay, it's off. You can call SDG&E and they'll come out and they'll grease this valve. We can't do it, but they'll come out and they'll grease this valve and make it much easier to turn or replace it. So if you have a really old one, you may want to make that phone call. Or you can get a piece of pipe and a bigger crescent wrench and just use that. Let's turn it back on. You can see that's much easier with more leverage. Now, in some houses, if you shut the gas off, you'll have to go and light the water heater and maybe a few other pilots in your home. And sometimes that can be problematic. But for the most part, that's what you do. Just turn this part right here so it's parallel with the ground, and you'll have the gas off again. Let me do it one more time. So you can watch, see how easy it is with a much longer wrench. Off. And back on. Okay, so hopefully that was instructional to some of you, and those that knew it gave you a chance to do something while you're waiting for that to end. So this is a couple pictures of water damage. The ceiling is from a leak upstairs that caused a great deal of damage to the structure and the contents below. And this, the first picture is a picture of a water heater that was in that little cubby, and that leaked, went in to the structure, and we had to cut out all the drywall, have it dried out. And the customer was without a water heater for several days. We do now have, and Tanya mentioned it, temporary water heaters that we can set so that they're not, you're not without hot water. And that's generally paid for by your insurance company if it elevates to that level. This is another picture of a water heater that's leaked, caused a great deal of damage to the platform and the walls. Every water heater should have a water alarm, and this is also another picture of a platform that got damaged and we replaced the stand. So this is the water alarm that, thanks Natalie, I'm talking in circles for you. This is the water alarm that we like to install. Very simple, it just sets in the pan or next to the water heater. Also can go underneath the sink if you have a RO system. There's also a water alarm that has a puck. And this puck is set next to the water heater. And if it goes off, it's going to do an additional, instead of just the audible sound, it's also going to alert you and notify you on your cell phone. So that's an upgrade and a very reliable way to go. Another product that we now sell and install, the latest technology is active monitoring. Now let's play this video and we'll show you how fantastic this is.
This house is my biggest investment.
Bob, you've got 15 minutes to get the kids to school. Love you, bye.
And I don't need any more problems. So when I learned that water damage to my house is more likely to occur than theft and fire combined, I got a Flow. Flow learns my home's water use and detects leaks anywhere in my house, no matter how small, even behind my walls. And even before I have a leak, Flow always checks for stuff that leads to leaks to help prevent them, like high water pressure and freezing temperatures. Every night, Flow automatically checks for leaks to give me peace of mind that my house is leak-free. This morning, it reported we have a small drip somewhere in my house, and I have a good idea where to check. Obviously, my son knows how to brush his teeth, and obviously, he's not the best at shutting off the water. After I tighten the handle, I can run a health test to make sure I have no other leaks. Now, Flow tells me definitively my home is leak-free again. I found my small drip, no more wasted water, and no more wasted money. I can also see what's happening with my home's water in real time. From here, I can see my water pressure, temperature, and that water is in use right now, 2.5 gallons per minute. Probably a shower.
She does this every morning.
Jennifer, let's go out of the shower.
Just 5 more minutes, Dad. What? Nice, Dad. Not cool.
Hey, don't laugh at your sister. You got 5 minutes.
What? Not fair.
And Flow is proactive. So, if the pipe bursts while I'm away, Flow detects it and shuts off the water automatically, preventing the catastrophic damage.
Morning, Bob.
Hey, Dwayne, how's it coming along?
It's getting there.
Dwayne had a busted water connector while he was out of town. $100,000 and 6 months later, he's finally moving back in, all because a $5 part went bad. He said he had sensors on the ground to detect leaks, but what good is leak detection if you can't stop the water? In my house, Flow would have detected the burst and shut off the water automatically. Crisis averted. Flow protects my house from these situations 24/7, whether I'm home or not. And because water damage is such a big problem, I can even get a discount on my homeowner's insurance. With all these savings on insurance and water, my Flow paid for itself. Ready for school, guys?
Yeah.
Kevin, did you forget to turn the water off again?
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry doesn't turn the water off. Again.
Can deal with that later. Time for school.
Okay, you can see that this device here could really benefit someone in the case of a leak in their home. So we recommend that every home have one. And if you'd like to learn more, please contact us. Another thing that you can do to help prevent a leak is to have a plumbing inspection. And that's where we do just a visible check of all your plumbing, the water, the drain. And oftentimes when we're doing an inspection, when we're checking the water connections, we'll find a connector that is on its way to being ready to burst. So the picture on the left will show that the pipe that's starting to corrode, and the one that's kind of pulled apart is one that burst, and that is a quite an expensive water loss when that happens. So we want to be looking for those. Another thing that we check is for water corrosion on pipes and fittings. And here's a picture of a pipe that's got a slow leak, and you can see the calcification building up around the fittings. And when we see those, of course, that is a good time to fix it rather than waiting for it to actually spring a leak and cause water damage. Another thing that we check is deteriorating cast iron and any other kind of drain line under a house or in the structure that's visible. And here's a picture of some old cast iron that needs to be replaced. And if we can't get to the pipes, then we have cameras that will look inside a pipe, and we can find roots, we can find breaks in the line, we can find cracks. And when we find those, usually we find other problems. And then lastly, on this last drain slide, you can see that these pipes have a lot of buildup inside them. And we run our camera down there, we can see that they're included and that they need to be either cut out or replaced or use some type of drain cleaning equipment. Now, anybody who has a water heater in their house and it's over 10 years old, they should really consider replacement. And we have 2 discounts that we usually run on this mailer that we did. There's $100 off on a water heater and $150 if you go from a tanked water heater to a tankless. So if you don't have one of those stickers to put on your water heater, let us know and we'll mail you one out. Now, another thing that we do to save money and time is investing in technology. And I have my son Dustin sitting next to me, and he's going to share with you a technology that we've invested in that helps put together copper pipe, plastic pipe, and steel pipe. So now I'm going to turn the time over to Dustin and let him show you how this works.
Hello, execs. So what I have here is a Pro Press fitting, and what this is a wrought copper fitting with an O-ring inside that gets compressed onto the pipe and makes a watertight seal in a matter of seconds versus soldering, which can take minutes or even in some cases hours if you're fighting water. So the basic concept is that you clean and deburr the pipe, and with ProPress, we don't have to worry about water. And in fact, yesterday, my dad and I were underneath the house in college making a repair after somebody hit the pipe, and we didn't have to wait hours for all the water in the pipe to leave. So we just push the pipe on all the way, take our machine, and crimp it to make a permanent repair that is as good, if not better in some situations, than soldering. Just today, I was underneath the house, had a small section about 6 inches that was leaking. I cut it out, was in and out of the house in less than an hour. One of the benefits is that we just don't have to clean the pipe to the same degree or really treat the pipe the same way as we do with soldering.
Thank you, Dustin. So you can see that's just one thing that we've invested in to make the job easier, cleaner, neater, faster, save time and money, and get you back in water much faster. Now I'd like to turn the time over to Joe Virgilio and let him talk about our heating and air conditioning department.
Well, thank you, John. Nicely done, Dustin. Technology is a game changer for us. I'd like to take a minute and ask another esteemed member of the executives and a great guy who's been very kind to me and been very nice to Ideal for supporting us. And I was hoping that maybe Jerry Gray could just share a little bit about his experience with Ideal heating and air conditioning.
Esteemed, my goodness, Joe. Yeah, we had our experience with them has been excellent. Our house was built in '87, and about 3 years ago, we felt the need to change the air conditioners. We have a 2-story house, and so I contacted Joe, and they went through all the running around, which I'm glad I wasn't part of, with SDG&E to qualify for the rebate. It was a huge undertaking. So at the end of the day, the product and the service was outstanding. The thing I like about Ideal, they do things right. They're not going to shortcut. And there's things that I didn't know. It comes under the heading of you don't know what you don't know. And to talk with Joe and work with him as he patiently explained what they needed to do, rather than, oh, just get it done, you'll be fine. No, that's not how I operate in my business. And I appreciate Ideal for what they're doing. They don't operate that way in their business either. And we also use them down at our shop because we have an old building and they've been down here a few times. Anyway, Joe, it's been awesome. Have had no issues with the equipment, and it's been super efficient between the solar system and the new air conditioning. Our power bills have been basically almost zero year after year. So
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. Again, your support for both us in the heating and air conditioning as well as the plumbing. And a great friend, we had a customer across the street that was having some issues, and Jerry jumped in and advocated for his neighbor. And so that repeat and referral business that we get from the execs is, it's the cornerstone of this business, and just so glad to be part of it. So again, thank you, Jerry. Let's talk heating and air conditioning. But before I do, I just wanted to introduce a team member here. If you take a look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, it's a picture of Dan DeVito. Dan DeVito is the department head for our heating and air conditioning department. Fun fact, Dan started with Ideal right out of the Marines, and he's been here at Ideal for 21 years. And he started off as a guy who thought he knew everything. He'll share with you. He realized quickly that he didn't know anything and was just willing to learn and work hard. The guy has the highest possible standards that you could ever want in somebody who's going to come to your home, talk to you about a pretty significant investment when you talk about heating and air conditioning equipment. He's going to tell you what he thinks he would do for his own home. And when he talks about designing a system, he's going to design a system that's going to work. It's going to work right. It's going to work the way the manufacturer tells you it's supposed to work. And I think there's the difference between Ideal and a lot of the other companies out there, is that we can put a system in, or they can put a system in, and it will make warm air and it will make cool air. The difference is that when we install a system, it's going to make cool air the way the system was supposed to, efficiently, low loads on it, which is going to add life to the system, add life to the equipment, and that's really what you want. So Dan DeVito is your guy. Anybody who needs an estimate to have a a new system installed, have us come out to do maybe some repair work, he's going to be your guy. And very, very proud, very happy to work with Dan DeVito. 21 years, I think, tells you a little bit about the culture here at Ideal, and you know, why it's such a great place to work. So thank you, Dan DeVito. We're going to talk about a product here, and it's about air filtration. It couldn't come at a better time. We talked about it the last concentration we did, and we feel so strongly about it that we're going to talk about it a little bit more. And so hopefully we're going to run a video here that will be enlightening and let you know more about the APCO X air filtration system.
All right, so we're coming to you from the attic above the offices of Ideal Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. We're here to promote the APCO X ultraviolet charcoal filtration unit. We talked about it at our last concentration. We're going to talk about it again. We think this product is fantastic. We think everybody should have one in their home. We think everybody should have one in their office space. We installed these at the beginning of 2020 when we had the first round of folks getting sick during the wintertime. It would go from office to office, and we were looking for some way just to get in front of it. So we found this product. We thought it was the right product for us. We didn't realize how much of a value would be when COVID hit. It's an ultraviolet charcoal filtration unit, and it does sanitize the air as it passes through your heating and air conditioning system. And that system is, you know, we're moving air from one office to the next. We have one of our units here. This is our server unit. So this unit runs 24 hours a day. You'll notice that we have the little blue light here and the black box on top. That lets us know that this unit is running. It's positioned at the right spot to get the ultraviolet light onto the coil where bacteria would normally grow, and then it moves from one office to the next. That office air is now clean and sanitized. And I have to say, I'm not going to use that, it cleared COVID, but what we haven't seen is folks in our office with colds or sniffles or situations where it's just moving from one place to the next. So we've installed these in all of our units. All of the air here at Ideal is conditioned, it's sanitized. We think it's going to be a value to you in your home and in your office space. So we'd love the opportunity to talk to you about it. This product, I hate to say it, was not readily available as soon as they realized COVID hit and what a benefit would be. So getting these units was very difficult to do. They are now available on the market. So if you needed one, we have some in stock here. We could install one for you tomorrow. If you were that interested, we can make that happen for you. Just something that it has great value for us. We think it's a very important item that you should know more about, and we'd love to help you with it.
Man, that George Clooney sure gets around. Thank you, George. It's let's talk heating and air conditioning. We're gonna review a couple of different types of way to condition the air in your home or in the space that you spend a lot of time in. Go back for a second. It was just that APCO Air, can't say enough about it. It works. It really works. So if you're interested in air filtration, it talks about 99% of the airborne particles are eliminated, 99%. I actually believe that that is true. It works here. It works very, very well. So you got to talk APCO X. I think it's going to be great. So thank you for going backwards on that for me, Natalie. Let's talk traditional heating and air conditioning. A great example. We had the opportunity of installing both the heating air conditioning system and the water heater in this home. And it just finished really nice. That's a just really clean installation. A lot of folks have traditional heating and air conditioning systems. It's a system that's designed to take the space, all of the space in your home. Some folks have one system, some folks have two systems, but it's designed to condition all of the space. And the design parameters is that you should get a 2 to 3 degree differential from room to room. So the back of the house should really be, you know, within a couple of degrees as the front of the house, or the den or the bedroom 1, bedroom 2. And from room to room, you should have universal comfort. And it's designed to make that space, or let's talk about, it was designed to be 2 to 3 degree differential. The challenge is that one, the equipment is selected, was maybe not installed correctly. Two, there was constraints during construction, so duct sizing was compromised. And three, duct placement was incorrect. And so now we've got, maybe that was the right equipment, but it was the wrong installation. And you're left with a system that is producing 70%, sometimes 60% of the rated capacity. And that's why you're not necessarily, it seems like, here's one of the things we hear, it just seems like it never shuts off during the hottest days. It just runs and runs and runs. The equipment might be the right size, but maybe it's just the installation that really needs to be addressed. These are very, very important factors when we're called out to do a heating and air conditioning system. And the idea that we want to solve the problems. We want to take that central air system, that central heating system, and we want it to be universally comfortable, so that when you spend those dollars, you get that SDG&E bill, or maybe you don't if you have solar, that you're comfortable with. I spent a couple $100 and I really wasn't warm, or I really wasn't cool during that time. So having the right equipment and having the right distribution system and the right installation, all of those things are going to play a part in how your system performs. And so I think we're the right company. I don't think you can go wrong having us come out, evaluate it, and make the decision. And most times these decisions are not low dollar decisions. Make the decision that, hey, I want my system to run correctly. And by doing that, when you call Ideal, that's what you're going to get. Dan's going to tell you what it's going to take. All right, that was fun. And so choosing the traditional system is, again, a way for us to focus on conditioning the whole home. Now, a lot of folks are asking for some smart thermostats, and we want to just make a quick recommendation. There's a lot on the market. We do like the ecobee. We like it when installed, provided by Ideal and installed by Ideal. The traditional retail product has a 3-year warranty. When provided and installed by a licensed contractor, you'll get a 5-year warranty. And this one is the one with the voice control, and it also has the smart sensor. So if you have more questions or you'd like to talk about smart thermostats, we can surely do that for you. Let's talk ductless split systems, or what we call mini split heating and air conditioning systems. What you're looking at there is what we call, it's a ceiling cassette. And that is part of a ductless split system. So that unit provides you the heating and the cooling as it sits right there. There's no ducts attached to it. It has specific refrigerant lines and power lines and condensate lines. But it's a great alternative if you're gonna just say, maybe you had a room addition and it's just never really conditioned the space very well. Maybe they just cut in a duct that was from the old system. It was never really designed for it. Maybe you go ahead and we put in a mini split and you go with a ceiling cassette. Very clean, very finished look, and again, very, very effective. Mini splits are averaging right around 18 to 21 SEER, which is going to be at the top of the actual rating chart for energy efficiency for your air conditioning. Another installation standard, and this is probably the most common, this is your typical ductless or mini split head that you'll see installed on the left above a window and an upstairs unit. On the right-hand side, it's kind of down in a living area. Again, there are no ducts. It does all of the heating and cooling with this interior mounted head. And then it also has an exterior condensing unit that most of us are familiar with when we have air conditioning systems. Gotta tell you, these units are quiet. When they're running, the indoor unit and the outdoor unit, I can't use the word silent because that's not true, but are they quiet? Yeah, they're really, really quiet. You will not be disappointed. We prefer the Mitsubishi line. We have found it to be the higher end of the product. But when you're making an investment and you want something to last and you want something to work, you don't buy cheap. And this is surely not cheap. There are a lot of manufacturers that make this equipment. There's a lot of them that come off the entry level. Their price point is probably far lower. Our experience has been, you know, we're going to offer you something that's going to last, it's going to work, it's going to be trouble-free. That's what we want for you. And I think that for just about all of our customers, that's what they want. And so it's efficient, it's quiet, it's clean, it looks good. It does give you the opportunity to condition a space and not necessarily the whole house. This home was kind of unique in that it's wood construction, it's pine up, well, top to bottom, it's pine in this installation. Initially, you see that big white box on the wall, and about 2 or 3 days later, it just disappears into the framework. You just don't see it anymore. And so all of a sudden, you're in a space that you weren't comfortable. Now you are. It's quiet. You're doing it efficiently, and you're doing it quietly. And it's a great alternative to whole house conditioning, because it allows you just to condition primarily a space, a living room. And a lot of our customers, maybe my age, that you know, kids are gone, they spend most of their time in their family room and maybe the master bedroom, and so they're buying a 2-head system. They condition the space that they're in. They have the whole house heating system. They turn that on when people come over, but it's a great way for you to condition just a space and not necessarily the whole home. Let me just go through and see. I think we're near the end of our
Hey,
time
Joe,
here.
if you can hear me, we've got about 2 minutes left if you want to make sure you have time for Q&A.
You know something? Why don't I just stop there? Thank you for letting me chat it up. I think Don's going to take it from here.
Okay. If you want to concentrate, you'll be getting an email, and feel free to click on one of those links and give us a testimonial in the form of a review. And we'd love to see that with Gmail, Facebook, or the BBB. And thank you for listening to our concentration. And if there is time for a question or two, we'll be happy to field those. Thank you.